posted at least 18 hours before the meeting in a prominent and conspicuous place at both the public body principal office, and if the public body directly or indirectly maintains an official internet presence that includes monthly or more frequent updates of public meetings, agenda, or minutes on a portion of the website and is fully accessible to the public. This meeting is in violation. You have not done so. We're playing the way you guys play. We're playing by the book, so this meeting is over with.
It is on the website.
Would you like me to read it again?
It's been in the window. It is on
Blank,
When?
blank in the window.
Hold it. Now, if we're not gonna be orderly about this,
You never have been.
it has been, it's in the window, if the sun bleached it out, but it's there, it's in our minutes, it's been in the paper, and it's been on the website.
This is the point of public comment, is the direct comment to the board. The board can choose to answer questions if they want to. And if you would like to, if you believe it was a violation of the Open Meetings Act, I believe the board does not believe so. And from the facts, it seems like it was not. So there are remedies in the Open Meetings Act. If you would like to use those, feel free to use those. But I think this is a time to direct your comment to the board and not necessarily debate with the board, okay?
Just run the board, Kyle.
We didn't elect you.
No way.
Okay, your 2 minutes are up.
No, they're not up. I would like him to explain that.
Then go 2 minutes, and then I can choose to respond and they can choose to respond.
Good.
You don't run the meeting, Kyle.
You are not elected.
You're not an official.
Okay, you're not even on the board.
It's in total violation.
Sun can't bleach it out that quick.
Not in 18 days.
You know, it's done, you should put it up again.
You reschedule it and never did it the way you're supposed to properly do it. We wouldn't do this if you weren't trying to do what you're trying to do to us. It's simple. You want to adjourn?
Because we did do it, Brian.
This many people saying no.
You didn't.
You see how you are.
Shouldn't lie like that.
Be another supervisor.
Yeah.
Are you doing this up? Does someone else have a comment?
I just have a question. Are you supposed to post it in the window, and how are we supposed to know that?
That's what the law says. Well, do you want me to answer the question?
Yeah.
That's what the law says. That's what the law provides for. Posted at Township Hall and posted.
So at $5.19 a gallon, I'm supposed to drive up there and look in your window?
We can't change what the law says.
I understand. You know, I'm here
You
for.
need to be quiet, young man. You're not on the board.
It
You
also,
let the people talk.
it also says, it's on the website, it's on the website, it's been in the paper, it's been in our minutes that are published in the paper.
Did you comprehend what I read?
This is with an 18 hours.
Let's just. I don't know.
He doesn't
I mean, it's not productive. One, if you think it's an Open Meetings Act violation, feel free, I mean, the Open Meetings Act has a remedy. I think, all of you know that the meeting was happening today. The meeting was posted on the website. I know it was posted on the website. Everybody's saying it was posted in the window. That's what the law provides for. And I think you said 18 hours. I think it was posted well in advance of 18 hours. So I think if we want to go through a public comment, we should go through a public comment.
Go look at the sign. Just do it yourself.
Get up, please. Get
No,
up.
he doesn't want to.
He knows he's
Does
wrong.
somebody else, Dave, did you have something you wanted to say?
I do.
What are the remedies?
So, we went through a lot of, public comments at many of the wind ordinance meetings with the planning committee. You guys have heard, during those meetings, what the majority of the people would like to have for an ordinance. I sent them to the board, a couple of weeks ago. Phyllis, thank you for sharing those. I just wanna remind you now, some of those before you make your vote tonight. And maybe you should think about changing some of those that are on that board today to meet something that's a little bit more in line, with the public's comment. Sound limits should be a maximum of 45 dBA Lmax. Keep the sound down on those things. Setbacks should be a minimum setback from a property line of a non-participating landowner or road right-of-way should be 1,640 feet. The tip of the turbine should be a maximum of 300 feet. Currently, the ordinance has zero height limit. That's ridiculous. Our current limit is 300 feet in our township. That's all we allow today. It shouldn't change from that. Shadow flicker should not be allowed on a non-participating property line. It needs to stay on their own property. Just don't allow that. One thing I think you're definitely lacking on, and that's insurance. I think the current ordinance is written for like about $1 million insurance. It should be $10 million. You're opening yourself up for trouble. Why not force the Apex company to put up a good rider out there so that you don't have to deal with that? And they need to do an impact study on what that means for wildlife, rivers, streams, etc. And the setback from the lakes, not nearly far enough. Keep that further. It needs to be at least 1 mile or greater. I'll just quit for there.
Does someone else have a comment?
I'm not from Winfield, but I do, right? Well, you gotta go.
If you'd stand up so we could hear you, please state your name, where you're from.
My name is Kathy Craig, I'm from Douglas Township, and yesterday morning I sent an email to Mrs. Stebbins, so I hope you got that. I did blind copy it to someone else and they did get it, so I'm hoping that you were able to get it and share it. In my email to you, I shared some information about the actual lease terms of an Apex lease and how the property rights are being surrendered to Apex by people that are signing leases, whether they know it or not. I have a copy of the lease. There's multiple sections here that are highlighted that talk about when a landowner actually signs a lease, what they are surrendering on their own property. Okay, so I hope that you had a chance to do that. Also, I want to point out what Dave was saying there about the people in the township that have been talking in public meetings about what they want in the ordinance, and that the things that he said are what the people have been saying that they want. And so I've been doing a lot of data collection. Numbers just do not lie. 91% of the people in your township between planning commission meetings and board meetings have said in public comments they do not want the wind turbines here, and particularly this ordinance that you are voting on tonight, they do not want. They want what is reflected in what Dave was saying there. I also want to point out, Montcalm County, 3 townships have had recall initiatives: Sidney, Douglas, and Maple Valley. Between those 3 townships, 1,022 people have signed a recall petition related to wind. In 3 townships only. People do not want this here, and I really ask you to listen to your people in Winfield. 91% have been speaking against the wind turbines, particularly this ordinance with no height limits and the setbacks being bad. Please listen to what Dave was saying. A lot of people here have done a lot of research. A lot of people might try to refute some of these things that I'm saying, but I have it in my hand to share with you. If you have any questions on the lease terms, it's right here.
Time, Kathy.
Julia Petras, Winfield Township. 2 things. One of them is, from what I've read in the paper, what I recall, and also what I've been told from other people, but I haven't had a chance to call the video today because I don't have good service here, is that the vote at the public hearing was to change the setback from 1.5 times the tip height from a non-participating property to 2 times. But what's in our current ordinance is not that. It's 2 times from a habitable structure, but still 1.5 times from a non-participating property. So I think we need to clarify that before anything is voted on, because I believe that's incorrect. Again, I can't pull up the video. I have it, but I can't look right now. So if we could get clarification on that before anything's voted on. The second thing is, just because I know that this ordinance came initially from Pine River Township in Gratiot, is I wanted to point out that, through doing some research, it's my understanding that, there are 128 lakes in Montcalm County versus 13 in Gratiot County. So this ordinance that fits Gratiot County does not fit here. It's not appropriate here. But we're completely different townships, there's a lot more water, a lot more lakes, and I think that that's something you need to consider when you're looking at this ordinance that comes from Gratiot County.
Someone else? There's no other comments?
I'm Lori Puskis, I'm from Winfield Township. I'm just curious, you talked about that the meeting is not, with the regulations. Why was it changed? In your minutes, it was supposed to be the second Thursday of every month. Why did you change this meeting to tonight?
Because one person couldn't be there tomorrow night. One person.
One person?
Right, you do it in the
My
timeline
2 minutes
that's
is
allowed.
enough, so I'm gonna go on. Another thing about Winfield Township that I would assume you would know better than I, because you people have all lived here. But I looked up on your website, and of course it goes back to 2016, but there are only 30 farm or agricultural. There are over 80 residential property. Your residential property is paying a lot of money in this township. Plus you have 3 lakes in your township. You're not like what this other lady said. You're not like the other townships. So why do you keep trying to copy what they've already put down and nobody likes? Do something for us. We're the ones that pay the taxes.
Someone else? Yes.
Eric Tester, Douglas Township. I see in your minutes we get 2 minutes. I believe you guys have been talking to Apex for about 3 years and countless hours. How can this community in 2 minutes change your mind? It seems like you're representing Apex, not the people. To limit us to 2 minutes to me is ridiculous, but you gotta figure, you serve these people. You can put what ordinance you want. If you go against the people, they're not gonna have your back. They'll shut this down, and you just wasted a ton of money in everybody's life. Put an ordinance that people will support. They'll be behind your back and support you if you give them a good ordinance. I don't understand why, we listen to Apex and allow this spin that they give us. These people aren't under oath. They can tell you your property's worth more. They can tell you your health will get better. They can tell you whatever they want. A little bit of common sense tells you that to think you can put turbines next to people's houses and it's not going to hurt their value, their health, their quality of life, of course it's going to. And you have to figure a way to compensate that. Because if you're not compensating your neighbor's losses, we're basically stealing from our neighbors. And I don't think any community in Montcalm County is going to let a corporation come in here, abuse this county greatly, and basically have neighbors stealing from each other. The people are not going to put up with an ordinance that's designed for some outside corporation. Right. They want what the people of this community want. If we wanted to live in corporate America, we'd move. We've all had years to move to Gratiot. People have had every opportunity to buy property, have turbines put up, live amongst them. Nobody here has. Why? Because nobody wants to live that way. And you got to listen to the people. To turn this township on its head is going to be the worst disaster that you will ever see here. I hear Apex saying, well, if you don't do what we want, we might sue you. Who in their right mind is going to get in bed with a company that's going to sue you into submission?
It's time.
say that, I sat at the meeting at the church with the planning commission, I listened to all the planning commission members completely ignore all the people in the audience, and it was horrifying. But I guess Sheila Crooks from Douglas, I guess being from Douglas, maybe not so shocking. We sat in the last meeting a few minutes ago with Cato, and the fellow from Apex basically threatened in a roundabout way that it was exclusionary zoning. And then we had a local lawyer stand up and saying they were blowing smoke. So, you know, it depends on who you listen to and whose side they're on, and I would just caution you. I mean, if you don't already have an insurance against litigation, then you should. But we all know what we're here for. We're here for you guys who have already leased and, you know, who are very pro-wind to vote in this horrible ordinance. So I say just do it and let the people recall you and referendum.
Linda Barnes, I'm from Douglas also. It's very obvious how the community feels. The vast majority, it's not too late. You guys are the board to say, PC, you need to work a lot harder to bring it to us. Put it on the ballot and let the people decide.
Yes.
It's going to end up being a referendum on it. It's best to do what's right, and I know when you've signed a contract, you cannot speak against Apex. It's part of your contract. You can't interfere with it, so that's kind of why you probably shouldn't vote on it. But support your people. They're here to let you know what they want. Thank you.
My name's Jamie Snyder. I'm from Cato Township. I just came from our amazing planning commission meeting where our planning commission actually listens to the citizens. We have never been treated in a manner of your PC treats your citizens. It is infuriating to come watch your planning commission. I never walk out of a meeting outside of Douglas Township more angry than I do when I walk out of there. You're not listening to them. A non-height limit is ludicrous. We just tried, ours is 400 feet with 4.5 tip height setbacks from non-participating properties. These people who haven't leased don't deserve the damage that's going to be done to them. They didn't lease for a reason. It's not, they don't have to deal with them now. Why should they have to? You guys have to listen to your citizens. Listen to them. They're begging you. Send it back to your planning commission. Make them work harder. Make them do the research. Our guys worked endlessly. Send them over to our meetings. Have them watch. I wrote a letter to the editor thanking them because they listened to us. They listened to both sides. It's not like we didn't want 400 foot. We wanted 300. They wanted 500, so we went with an equal right down the middle, 400 feet. Send it back. Let them work on it. Thank you.
Get a new PC. Yes.
Well, then is it conflicted?
Not conflicted.
Is there someone else who wants to make a comment?
Good job, Jamie.
Johansson City Township. I was at their meeting Monday. Nice. There's a few people there. Back the way it used to be. You guys could have done that a long time ago. Sydney passed a nice restrictive ordinance. Keeps Apex right out of there. We don't have to deal with them. The one conflicting member on the board is no longer there. He was recalled. We have a new trustee that we can trust. His name's Eric Mako. And similar things are going to happen in other townships. People need people that are elected on the board that people can trust. Not go against what the people that say, hey, we don't want these. You guys are going against it. Everything these people are saying, we don't want these. And you're not listening. Well, one guy in Sydney didn't listen. He's no longer a trustee. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen in Douglas. It's already happened in Maple Valley. You make the decision. You listen to the people that put you up there. It's up to you.
Yeah, Robin Folsom from Maple Valley, and I've got a couple of things. Maple Valley and Winfield, the only reason that we're in the predicament we are is because of that gentleman that's sitting right up there. You people have listened to everything that he has told you about conflict of interest, and not one thing of it is the truth. He has screwed it all around so that he can be behind you in the Apex company. You're not mucking with us, whatever your name is there, Kyle. I've known you for going on 2.5 years now, and you've done nothing but spill lies, just like Albert and his clan. And we're fed up with it. You should be gone. There's no need for you to be here. That's our opinion.
Yeah, he pays you.
Next comment?
Julie Houghton, Winfield Township. This potential zoning ordinance you're about to very likely to approve is really negligent. There's no safeties in place in this thing. It's ridiculous. The lack of height limit and the fact that it's negligent, you guys could be held responsible. That's malfeasance. I wanna think about that. Something happens, you could be liable. Because you're covered when you do your due diligence and you are reasonable and you try your best, but when you throw caution to the wind, that's malfeasance. And you could be liable in court or somebody gets hurt, these things that you're allowing to take place, something happens, you might wanna think about that.
Next comment?
Leslie Rydell, Pine Township. I would just say that you haven't listened to your citizens so far, and it is criminal. You've had people coming out in droves begging you for protections in your wind ordinance, and you're completely ignoring them. Now, I know you're taking your attorney's advice that there's no conflict of interest. Voting on this ordinance proves you are extremely conflicted. And I tell you what, if this law firm were representing an individual, there would definitely be an attorney grievance complaint. But because he's representing the township, the individuals can't file a complaint. So I just would ask you to reconsider what you're doing. There will be a referendum, there will be recalls, hands down, just like what's happening in other townships. Thank you.
I'd like to say one thing, just like I will. I've got to answer to God. You guys will too. No liar gonna get into heaven. And there's a whole lot of other ones that ain't gonna get into heaven too. It's in the back of the book, it's in the whole book. I know that goes for me. If I'm lying, I'm not gonna go there. If I'm stealing, I'm not gonna go there. Some of you have a record in those areas. God be the judge. But we're not blind here. Okay? We got to answer to Him. You need to think about that. I know you might have asked for prayer. We all ask for prayer. But who are we praying to? Are we praying to somebody that's got the authority to move mountains? to save our lives? How am I gonna treat my neighbor? How are you treating your neighbors? What they don't know ain't gonna hurt them?
See how far that goes.
I think we need to step up to the plate. But you don't have to answer to me. We have to answer to him one day. Very soon.
Amen.
Next comment?
Derek Dickerson, Winfield Township. I think we all know how this is gonna go. You've been very clear that you don't listen to the residents of this township. The planning commission has put something through that is ridiculous. There shouldn't be any voting on this tonight. Send it back, make them do their job.
Next comment?
Hi, Vanessa, Maple Valley Township. And, if you do what your people ask you to do and send it back, why don't you trust your planning commission enough to work on the ordinance on their own instead of spending the kind of money you're paying Kyle to come up here? Because he's charging you guys all this and he's the one writing your ordinance. I've been at your PC meetings more than once and they do what he tells them to do. You didn't appoint them people to have Kyle do the job. If you want Kyle to do the whole job, why don't you get rid of all your PC and let Kyle do it? Otherwise, let your PC do it and send the ordinance back there where it belongs.
Next comment? Does anyone else have a comment? Then I'll close public comment. The next thing on the agenda is the budget for 2022. Okay. Is there any discussion on it? I make a motion that we accept the budget as written. Is there support? Support. It's been moved and supported to accept the budget as submitted. All those in favor say aye. We need a roll call vote. Okay. Steve?
Yes.
Kathy? Yes. John?
Yes.
Yes. We'll have the clerk's minutes from the last meeting, May 12th, 2022. Meeting called to order and opened with the pledge by Supervisor Phyllis Larson. May 12th, 2022 at 7 p.m. Members present, Supervisor Phyllis Larson, Clerk Colleen Stebbins, Treasurer Kathy Fillinger, Trustee John Black, Trustee Steve Cole. Approval of the agenda. Motion by Steve Cole, seconded by Colleen Stebbins to approve the agenda and include, you left out a word. I'm sorry. Anyway, voice vote, motion passed. Clerk's report stand as read. Treasurer's report. Fire department, $95,047.49. General checking, $179,521.54. Tax account, $94,688.83. ARPA, $119,072.44. Interest this month, none from the bank, for a total of $488,330.30. Stand as reported. Yes, Kathy Shanahan. Campaigning. Zoning Administrator Dave Kelsey reported 3 permits for the month of April. Cemetery, water is turned on. Park, tree trimming is completed. Roads, Indian Lake was given a road contract which they asked for to gravel resurface with limestone Cheyenne Drive from Apache Trail north to the end for $9,162, in which they will pay half. Tire Amnesty Day, May 21st, 2022, from 8 a.m. to noon at Ben Gordon's Trucking Service, all tires, car, truck, and tractor tires. Cleanup Day, June 4th, 2022, 8 a.m. to noon at Keller Larson Park. Ms. Cohen, FOIA appeals, motion by Kathy Killinger, second by Colleen Stebbins, that the state law deems the township board to have received Ms. Corhorn's FOIA appeals at its next regularly scheduled meeting, May 12th. The township proposed response is upholding its fee calculation, but would in good faith reduce it by 50% as a public interest waiver to reduce the unnecessary conflict between both parties. Township is required under the FOIA to produce responsive records, whether they are paper or electronic. The FOIA does not impose an obligation on the township to organize all records, affidavits of publication, that it may have paper copies of reporting. The FOIA fee was based on the amount of time that it would take to search for responsive records possessed by the township, whether they are paper or electronic, to ensure a complete response. The case cited in the original FOIA response suggests attorney and invoices can be reviewed to determine if they contain exempt material from the FOIA and require retractions. Therefore, it was appropriate to include estimated time for any reductions. Provisions of the FOIA expressly allows the township to take a reasonable amount of time, 2 to 4 weeks after receiving a deposit, to search for records for extensive FOIA requests like this one, 14 separate requests. Roll call, John.